Welcome to the Artie Clear Show. Right now I want to talk a little bit about the steroid issue in the Major League Baseball, and Mark McGwire has just come clean with the steroids. He's going to be the batting coach for the St. Louis Cardinals, and I want to know how a man like that can get away with doing steroids and admitting it and not caught for cheating, and how his records are going to stand in baseball today. How does he go to the Hall of Fame with all those home runs he's hit? 70 home runs, beat Roger Maris's record at 61 home runs. Barry Bonds hit 73 home runs, and this is all about steroids. What are they going to do about these steroids? Basically, Pete Rose, who can't get into the Hall of Fame because he was gambling and he was cheating baseball. Well, Rose wasn't cheating, but he was gambling in baseball, which is a no-no. You got this Black Sox scandal in 1919 with Shoeless Joe Jackson, Chick Kendall, Eddie Seacott, and Lefty Williams were involved. Buck Weaver also, he went to his death trying to prove that he wasn't involved in that. Now you're going to get a guy who's going to go to the Hall of Fame, possibly in Barry Bonds, who's going to be his mentor to induct him into the Hall of Fame, and who's going to stand good for him for a guy who's using steroids. Steroids is a no-no, and I don't believe anybody who's using steroids should be any part of the Hall of Fame in baseball. Even Mark McGwire, coming clean as a batting coach for the St. Louis Cardinals, he's talking about steroids. He's actually admitting he lied to Congress along with Rafael Palmeiro in front of a superior court. How does this man get a job in baseball where Pete Rose at one point wasn't even allowed to be near a Major League Stadium? To me, something's wrong. I don't know what it is, but it has to be corrected. These steroid issues are big-time issues because most of your stars today, in Roger Clemens, who's now retired, or Alex Rodriguez from the New York Yankees, he was using it in 2003 with the Texas Rangers. And he has said he took the steroids because he was under so much pressure from signing a $250 million contract, a 10-year contract, which is $25 million a year. He thought he had so much pressure on him that he needed to do the steroids to perform his contract because he was the highest paid ball player, highest paid athlete in America at the time that he signed his contract. I don't know how he's going to get in the Hall of Fame, or Manny Ramirez, who has unbelievable gaudy numbers in playoffs, tremendous hitter. He's a player. He's definitely going to go to the Hall of Fame. He was suspended for 50 games for using HGH, high-performance drugs. And everything revolving around these great players. Now, Roger Clemens is a guy who's been using them. This guy Anderson, who says he gave them to Clemens, is in a lawsuit against him. He's going to get involved with Balco, who's been in front of everything. I don't really like this, what's going on. Baseball's supposed to be pure and natural, like Cal Ripken Jr., who legitimately broke Lou Gehrig's streak for consecutive games played in Major League Baseball. Now you're talking about steroids. It's the steroid issue. So what I suggest is this. Why don't we take a part of the Hall of Fame for steroids and just put these players who use steroids, admitted users, and put them in the Hall of Fame that way? I know you need 75% of the vote to get into the Hall of Fame. And Burt Blyleven, who has over 3,000 strikeouts, and who I said on my show, by the way, it's on WNJC 1360, also Wi-Fi 1460 AM at 3 o'clock on Saturday, and it ends at 5 o'clock. It's 2 hours of sports power. I'm asking why Burt Blyleven, who has 74.6% of the voters, the writers, didn't get him in the Hall of Fame with over 3,000 strikeouts. In fact, he's the only pitcher who's eligible for the Hall of Fame with 3,000 strikeouts that's not in the Hall of Fame. They cut him short, but they'll go ahead and waste 25% of the vote for Mark McGwire, when honestly, Burt Blyleven definitely belongs in the Hall of Fame. Probably had the greatest curveball of anybody. Anybody who knows baseball will tell you that. Of anybody, Burt Blyleven, that was his pitch. It was his out pitch, was the curveball. Something's wrong with baseball. I know they use these home runs. It's very sexy. It's very fashionable for Major League Baseball. They were almost out until McGwire and Sosa had the race, and it was the high-performance drugs that was given them, the steroids, that fueled the home run contest where they both broke Roger Maris's record. McGwire hit 70 home runs that year. Sammy Sosa hit 66 home runs, excuse me. What he did, though, and no one else has ever done this before, was hit 60 home runs 3 consecutive years, Sammy Sosa. Now, I got his baseball card. He was about 135 pounds when he got into baseball. He weighs about 220 now, and he's like solid as a rock, like Mount Everest. But it wasn't because he worked out or hard work or anything like that. It's because he was shooting up the steroids. Jose Canseco made a book called Juice, wrote a book called Juice. And nobody wanted to believe Jose Canseco. They all say he was lying. Now, about 95% of that book is true. And now he's getting his accolades for all these things. He came out, he said it. He wasn't interested in getting the Hall of Fame. He was never going to go to the Hall of Fame. But he's one of the few players that had hit 40 home runs and stole 40 bases at the same time in the same year. Only another guy did that, and that was Willie Mays. So he does have an oddity, Jose Canseco. But what he did was he brought the truth out in a book to Major League Baseball about these steroids. To me, it's a gigantic issue. Why? In the old days, Lyle Alexander got on TV before the man passed away. He wanted to win a Super Bowl. He got involved with steroids with the Oakland Raiders. He won a Super Bowl in 1980. He also lost his life a year later. Him and his wife got on primetime NBC at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Channel 3, and was telling the world about steroids to stay away from them. No one listened. Mike Webster of the Pittsburgh Steelers, taking him, he's dead. These people who are getting crippled up, injuries, pro wrestlers, can barely move. It eats away your liver, everything inside of you. It just starts to disintegrate you, where you will not be able to live if you keep on doing steroids. If you've done steroids in the past, don't do them anymore, because it's almost over for you. If you do them, you're going to get the bad end. That's my issue on steroids. I want everyone to listen to WNJC 1360, Wi-Fi 1460, 3 to 5 on a Saturday, 2 hours of sports power. I'll see you when I see you.